All right, let's work on filling a table of equivalent ratios. All right, the first thing I want to remind you guys of is that we always want to use information that we know for sure. We don't want to make assumptions, and remember, we are going to find patterns based on using multiplication for increasing values or division for decreasing values. So let's first take a look at what we know and then identify patterns from there, and then repeat the patterns to solve for missing values. So right off the bat, I can see that I have these two given values for the first and the second box, 5 and 10. And I know in order to get from 5 to 10, what do I have to do? I will have to multiply by 2. And since I know that's true on the top, since I know this is a table of equivalent values, equivalent ratios, I know that same pattern will be followed right below. So that means I'll have to multiply the first box times 2 to get that middle box. And of course, I know that 4 times 2 is 8. Now, I don't want you to just trust me. I want you to go ahead and check that these two values are equivalent. And there's a really simple way of doing that. So 5 to 4 was our ratio that was already given. That's the one that we're going to want to match the other ratios to. And you just simply do the math on your calculator. So when I do 5 divided by 4, I get 1.25. And I just want to make sure the same is true when I do 10 divided by 8, since that's the ratio that's supposed to be equivalent. And when I do it on my calculator, I get the same thing, 1.25. So far, I know my table is filled correctly. All right, now I want to once again use what I know to create another pattern. So I look at another set of given values. I know this first box and this last box. And so I think to myself, how do I get from 4 to 32? And if you don't know, remember you can just do the opposite and divide. So on your calculator, you could do 32 divided by 4, and you would solve that was 8. That means I know in order to get from my first to my third box, I have to multiply by 8. And once again, I can repeat that pattern up top because I'm using information that was already given and I know for sure. So I'll have to multiply the first box times 8 in order to get that last box. And I know that 5 times 8 is 40. So we think we have the table filled, but once again, don't trust me. Let's double check and make sure those values are true. So that ratio is 40 to 32. I'm going to divide on my calculator 40 divided by 32, and I want to make sure that's equivalent to the others. And yes, that is also equal to 1.25, and I know that's equivalent. Therefore, I know that this is now a table of equivalent ratios. Great job.